record button?
I did.
Did you hit the record button on the sound?
I did.
Did you hit the record button on cam 2?
I did. It's been recording the whole time.
Okay.
It's Apple time.
You have a table full of Apple products and you're cramming one in your face?
What?
I said, because we have a table full of Apple products and you're cramming one in your face?
Yeah, I don't think so. Welcome to setup number...
Don't even know. You just don't say I don't know.
Come on, man.
It's okay.
Come on, man. Setup number...
20 subsection B.
No.
20 subsection?
Yeah.
We're leaving this here. 20 subsection.
Something like that.
No, you were all the way almost to 30 last time.
When was the last time we did that?
Mexico City.
That's kind of my point.
I think we did one when we moved here. At least 2. When we had the...
Go ahead. Slap the thing.
The bin and then we
Do
had
it.
the table.
You feel very powerful now, don't you?
No. Don't.
Alright, so now we're looking at boxes. Lots of boxes.
But hopefully it'll keep the heat down on the camera.
Well, we'll see about
Heat
that
and
too.
sound. That was your goal with this.
We'll see about that. I'm taking a photo.
Say the thing. Quickly.
We're live at 11:05.
Are we live at 11:05?
Yes.
Now
We are live at
it's
11:05.
Now it's 11:06. It changed.
But I said it on time.
But 6 is better than 5.
Okay. Apple. Do you eat the whole apple?
He does.
I do.
That's weird.
The
Yeah.
only thing I don't eat is a stem.
One of the
That's
teachers
weird.
I work with said, "Oh, don't you like roasted apple seeds? They taste like almond." And I'm
I
like,
do.
What?
She likes to eat the apple seeds. She said they taste.
Roasted.
She said she likes to roast them and she likes to eat them just out of the core. They taste like almond.
Okay, they don't taste like almond.
I don't like the seeds. I don't like
But
the
roasting them is an interesting idea.
We're from Michigan. How have we never done it?
because it's not something we do. We save the seeds and plant them.
Oh, I guess.
Apple trees.
To make more apple products.
That's right, to
Yeah.
make more apples.
Because you can
All
never
right,
have too many
so-
apples.
We really don't have a different setup, we just changed walls.
Yeah.
But that also meant that now we have a kind of a wall behind us that
We don't have a window behind us that we have to cover
it
up.
has a
Or a
texture
door.
and everything. Right, no door, no window,
Door, weird
boxes.
stone. If that stone wall was all the way across, it would be more interesting.
Yes, it would.
But
It's pretty.
It's got a window and a door there, so, and it's the only wall like that, as far as I know, in the whole house. That's the only one.
Yeah, because that makes sense. You put up the nice tile
On that.
on
one
the area
thing.
that's cut out with doors and windows.
Well, it's
You
probably
know,
'cause it
put
was
there,
cheaper.
Here. Yeah,
Cheaper
but
than this?
yeah. Why would you change it?
Well, it was cheaper to put it on that wall than put it on this one.
But why put it at all?
I didn't make.
If you weren't gonna put it anywhere else,
I don't know. I
because
wouldn't.
I think the laundry room is even different than this. It's more.
This looks to me like leftover tile.
Yeah.
We got some tile, and then they just throw it up there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, what y'all got to talk about? Wait, before you say that,
Roll the intro.
what you gotta talk about.
Wait.
Ignore the boy in the middle.
We have to wait. Go.
Oh my gosh, Aaron, you killed me.
Come on.
Alright, this is my first full week back to school.
I should play the video on the phone and then we have to wait. Go.
What?
Or play the intro on the phone and then we have to wait for it.
You aren't gonna watch this show talking about you're gonna play the intro. You couldn't play the intro if you want to. You can't even find the show. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I could find the show. It's easy. Subscribe.
You've never even seen a show.
That's not true.
Have you seen a show?
Probably not.
See?
I have.
I know I have, 'cause I gotta edit these things and throw them on the YouTubes.
I share them quite frequently.
If you don't watch them,
I do too sometimes. I don't watch every single one. I was here. I know what I said.
I don't. I have no idea what I said last week.
Yeah, but when you edit it.
I still don't know. I watch it like it's a new show.
Yeah, but that's one thing that I've noticed in editing is like, even if it was a long time ago, if something happens, you have a similar reaction to what
Yes,
you
my
said.
reactions are probably the same, but sometimes I surprise myself. Sometimes I'm funny to me.
Who is you?
Who is you? That was the best. The who is you? I don't even remember ever even thinking to say that.
Carmex could sponsor us.
Well, that was you.
That was me. But you came up the stairs with it one day, just out of nowhere. I'm sitting there.
But you had just,
Carmex
I
could
was
sponsor us.
editing the video where you said it. Who is you? Almost made me tip over.
Not the slow tip. We haven't seen one of those in a while.
The who is you, man? That was great. Because usually what I say is, what's your name?
I don't even know your name. That's
Right.
what you say.
But on that particular day, I just said, who is you? That, oh, God. That's it. That's like, who this?
Hit it, list person.
Yeah, you got a list.
Doesn't make
I do
lists.
have a list.
Really?
Physical list.
I have a list.
An actual
I have
You
one.
actually wrote things down.
type
I did.
list?
So, let's see.
Well, then, we got a list. I don't really have a list.
That's so weird that you eat the entire.
Why?
Why is it not
It's
on
all
my-
edible.
Why is it not on my iPad? I have it on my phone.
Hmm?
Yeah, the core's not nice to eat.
Why not? Why do you think the core is bad to eat?
Feeling of it.
I don't like the texture of it either.
It's all hard.
It's not that hard.
It's that crispy bit, like that little flexible, like the
Like
fish
the,
scale thing.
the cartilage.
The fish scale thing. I don't like that
It's,
texture.
it's my version of cartilage.
Apple
The
cores.
vegan apple cores is my version of cartilage.
Okay, so I started back to work this week. Like, this is my first full week. And,
Wait. Keep going.
I was used to
You messed up my flow.
the students pushing the boundaries to see where they could go. But I've been in the classroom since last week, Wednesday. And their rules have been the same. Like, didn't matter which teacher was in charge at the moment, because my sub was still there until Thursday. It didn't matter which adult was in charge at the moment, the rules were the same. And that was the reason the sub was in the classroom, so I could observe for her and what she had been doing for the 3 months I was gone, so that we could maintain continuity. And then a couple of the little girls who in the very beginning of the school year were just absolute nightmares with behavior, they reverted back to like the first week of school. And the sub was just beside herself. She couldn't understand why they weren't listening, why they were walking around, while they were going to the bathroom like for 10 minutes at a time, why they were coming back late from lunch, all this stuff. And I told her, this is what kids do. They want to test the boundaries. They want to push the limits. But it was completely foreign to her because she hadn't seen them that way. When she came, I had already set the limits, and she just walked right into it. So when I was talking to the parents yesterday, the one mom was asking me, how did she do, blah, blah, blah. And I said, she's still pushing the boundaries, but that's just part of it. And she said, she doesn't do well with change. This is the first time I've heard this at all, that this child doesn't do well with change. And that made complete sense because she reverted back to when she first met me. So that was, in her brain, that was okay. That was the norm. So as I'm sitting here talking to the mom about setting boundaries and how we're going to work together about this, I watch a parent in the hallway. They have 2 children. The little girl has a cupcake. The little boy does not. The little boy wants the cupcake. So the girl says, I will give you a bite of my cupcake. I will take a bite. You will take a bite. And the little boy throws a fit. He wants the entire cupcake. Sister gets none of her cupcake. And the mom said, nope, that's it. You're done. You don't get any cupcake if you can't share. She picks the child up and kind of glances over at me like I'm going to be judging her. I was like, way to go, Mom. Way to set those boundaries. And the mother that I had been talking to, she just looked at me and she said, we never get praised for setting boundaries. And I was like, well, that makes so much sense in this environment because the kids have no boundaries. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. But it's so important to set them.
Okay.
I can't imagine Aaron and Keegan behaving the way these kids act.
Not with my mantra.
Listen,
I have a mantra. Y'all know my mantra.
If
Beta.
You don't even have to like raise a hand
Just-
or anything. It's just like
a look.
you just have to say.
Sealy told y'all.
Not that.
Beta.
You just have to say, not even.
You don't say
anything
we don't
big.
say anything. Like one mom said this week, I keep yelling at her and punishing her, and she's not listening. And I was like,
Yeah, because you're yelling at her.
I said, oh, would you like to know the secret? I don't yell at my kids like that. I didn't especially when they were that age. She's like, well, how did you get them to do what you wanted them to do? And I said, you get really quiet and really close to their ear. And it scares the mess out of them.
Yeah, but it's not going to scare a child that's not.
I said, but the key is that you have to set the boundary and then you have to follow through with it. It's the follow through. One of the parents was telling us
it's
that
the consistency.
it's the consistency. One of the parents was saying that because this is the child I had the most trouble with, and the sub had the most trouble with as far as behavior. And we were talking about the parent meetings and what was said in the parent meetings, and the parents told the sub that the child had no boundaries at home and anything she wanted she got, but she was never satisfied with that. Like they would just buy her whatever, but she never was happy with what they bought her. She always wanted something more.
Yeah, because you keep buying her what she wants.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking like, okay, so how do I teach these parents to set boundaries? Because they can, if they don't participate in this action, that kid is never ever going to learn it. Even in this classroom, she's not going to follow the rules because she doesn't have to at home.
Unless you beat her.
You're so beaten as a child, aren't you?
Beat her.
Yes.
Frequently, daily.
Yes.
Daily beatings. Beat her.
I don't know. I think it's fascinating. Like we have, as us as a team of parents, we have this rule about what they can and cannot do, and what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior. And we were talking this week about responsibilities and teaching our kids responsibilities and teaching the students responsibilities for their behavior. And I said, if our children were to act in these ways, we would be judged by our peers and we would be considered bad parents. The last thing I wanted as a mother, and still, the last thing I want as a mother, is for someone to see us and say, oh God, here comes Karen with those kids.
So you're more worried about what other people say?
No,
Because that was never my thing.
I'm worried about how they behave, and will they be shunned or mistreated because of their behavior.
Or are you looking for acceptability?
Well, there's always that. You always want their behavior to be acceptable, but you also want their behavior to be exemplary.
Okay. I don't have nothing to say, man. I told y'all what the mantra. All you gotta do is live by the mantra.
I can't beat my students.
But the parents can.
Yeah.
They do. I had a mom.
If you were still in China, you could.
Beat her.
No. You can't beat them. I don't care which country
But you
you're in.
can beat
Not as
them.
an educator, you can't.
In China, you can.
In China, you can.
No. I mean,
That should be more sure. In China, you can.
Everybody anticipates that. If you want to follow the Traveling Farrs, you can follow us on the YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, iTunes, Spotify, or the Google Podcast at the Traveling Farrs. If you like the Instagram or the Twitters, Traveling Farrs. If you like the email, travelingfars@gmail.com, and the blog space, the travelingfars.blueberry.net. No E's in the blueberry.
So I'm out here.
Say goodbye to the people.
bye, people.
Peace.